Before a roll call vote, I'd like to announce that we're having some technical issues with our county website, enjoybbc.com. So for FOIA purposes, the video of tonight's meeting will be posted online. It can be accessed through my personal Facebook page at Bill James at Facebook. Roll call vote.
Del Holt.
Here.
Nikki Brown. Here. Sarah Brown. Here. Mary Phillips.
Here.
Mary Lynn.
Here.
John Bradford.
Here.
Ron Tatum.
Here.
Brenda Lemings.
Here.
Esther Rice.
Here. You had emailed to you a copy of the minutes from August. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I move that we approve minutes. Second.
Gary Linn. Second Lemings. Let our secretary catch up. It's been motioned and second to approve the minutes as emailed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You have a treasurer's report. Do I hear a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
It's been motioned and second to approve the treasurer's report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Emailed to you is a copy of the appropriations analysis. Do I hear a motion to approve the appropriations analysis?
So moved.
Second.
Question.
Yes.
There's a lot of red in that. Are those cleanups or?
Cleanups.
Cleanups.
Right. It's been a motion and second to approve the appropriations analysis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You have before you a copy of the county roads and equipment report. The road department has completed work on the Dean Road Bridge to put a permanent fix on an area of chronic washouts. Work is in progress as we speak on Old Highway 9, which is a 50/50 mitigation grant project. Upon completion of the Old Highway 9 project, work will begin on Butter Creek to replace the bridge that collapsed. We have all the materials on hand now to complete that project and to do that fairly quickly. The Shirley Bridge will follow Butter Creek. Culverts and drainage projects scheduled include Rumley Road, Watson Road, Foster Cemetery Road, Butter Creek. There's some changes, there's some drainage in addition to the bridge. Wilderness Trail, which is Highway 389. We have 2 crossings on Graceville Cutoff that need to be replaced and some on Klondike Road. We're trying to get all these done before the rainy season. The striping project has been completed. We have a lot of new stripes out in the county. We're close to completing the routes with the ditches being pulled. We have just a few roads left to have our routes completely finished. And the grader operators are doing a really good job pulling those ditches and reclaiming the gravels from the ditches back to the roads. Do you have any questions for me?
Where's that Dean Road?
Dean Road is in the southeastern part of the county, down by Fairbanks. Sheriff's Court. Would you like to approach? Anyone have any questions for the sheriff? Are there any elected officials who would like to approach the court? Court, do you have any questions for any elected officials that are with us? Are there any public comments at this time?
Yes, sir. Relative to just general public comments? Or?
You bet.
Okay. I know y'all know who I am, Alex Kenlin, Van Buren County Democrat, saying that to be on the record. The Van Buren County Democrat, as I suspect you already know, closed its office last Friday. And I'm putting this on the record to let you know we're still a weekly paper. I'm still your favorite editor. The only thing that's changed is that office that you never went to is no longer open. So I just wanted to communicate that clearly and make sure it became part of the public record. Thank you for the opportunity, Judge.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
South Media.
Can you come to the microphone? Thank you.
Hagle South Media 3 has had a name change about a month ago. We're now Swift Connect. Alan Tangler was one of the group of men that bought out Clinton Cable, and he bought the others out. And so we're still at 133 Bone Street. Doesn't change a whole lot for customers, just employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you wish to approach about a road?
I'm Marty Martin, reside on Porter Road. We'd like to see what it would take to get on the agenda to get our road chip and sealed, because there's at least 40 children that ride the bus every day, and the dust is causing issues with my grandson, which we have custody of. And we have a petition signed by, I don't know how many people, quite a few. So we'd like to try to get on the agenda, if we could, about that. We're not
Okay.
familiar how to do it.
Okay.
What was the road? Sir?
Porter Road.
Porter Road.
I've been paying taxes since 1968, residing there,
That's off Luke Mountain.
and off of Luke Mountain. They just recently chip and sealed Luke Mountain. And ours is one of the only roads left that the bus has, that many children has to take.
We aren't chipping and sealing any roads this year. We faced a decrease in the road department of over $350,000 this year because SWIN didn't pay us a penny. And we're having to adjust as we go. We had a bridge collapse. We've got a lot of drainage issues and washed out roads. That's not the answer you want to hear. And I know you pay taxes for a long time. Thank you, because we have a corporate partner who's not paying their taxes. So it makes me want to thank you that much more. Everyone in the county pays taxes.
Right.
I did promise the next chip and sealed road to those that Roger Hooper had already promised were next on the list. So I can definitely look at putting you on the list.
Okay.
And it may not be next year, but possibly the year following.
Can I submit this petition?
Absolutely.
And we can get quite a few more signatures. We have the superintendent of Shirley School and several other members of, mayor and everybody else. Definitely been waiting a long time.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Do y'all have any questions for this gentleman? Or do you have any questions for them?
How many people live on that road?
The first page of that petition has everybody that lives on the road. So there's
25
25
mailboxes.
mailboxes,
How long is the road? 3.5 miles.
3.5 miles. Yes, ma'am. And it's, I have we have custody of 3 grandchildren, and one of them has sinus problems because of this dust issue on the road. I don't know if gravel would help. We'd be open to that, certainly. But I think the superintendent was going to be here, but she couldn't because it's parent-teacher night.
This is one of the
Thank
joys of
y'all
dirt
for
road.
your consideration.
Yeah.
Would be appreciated.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the?
Hey, Adrian Smith, I recently moved on Porter Road, and several people come to me about the problem that we have on Porter Road. It's a safety issue beyond a safety issue. I did talk to the superintendent. She was supposed to be here probably around 7 o'clock tonight. There's 45 kids that ride that bus every day. These children are our lives. And this is the only road in the county with 45 kids that is not chip and sealed. The other 2 are chip and sealed. You're putting 45 children at risk every single day. Not just today, every day, what you're doing. You're putting people's lives. They had a guy that broke his axle the other day. They've had 3 major wrecks. Marty happened to have been in one of them on that road. That's what we know of, and we just got here. Something needs to be addressed on this. This can't be put off for 2 years. You're putting children's lives in danger, what you're doing. And I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna keep pushing until we get it fixed right. Apparently, they worked 4 hours yesterday, and they've worked 4 hours today, and all they do is stirring up dust over there. Because after it rains this weekend, it's gonna be 3 times as worse. They did it the last time they did it, June,
Beginning of August.
the beginning of August, the last time they did it. And somebody complained to you about it. I know about that for a fact because he almost running off the side of the mountain. It's a safety issue. It's no longer just a health hazard because the kids are having to ride with the school bus every day with the windows down in there because there's not enough air conditioning there. They're breathing in that dust. These are our children. I don't even have children up here, but I know several people that do have children, along with the other 45 children that are riding that bus every day. Thank you.
New business, our first ordinance is sponsored by Justice Holt.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to allow the Van Buren County Solid Waste Department to separate a full-time position into 2 part-time positions. Whereas the Quorum Court is responsible for fixing the number and compensation of employees, and whereas there is a need to save money at the Solid Waste Department due to budget constraints, and whereas the budget will need no revision to accommodate this ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, State of Arkansas, that the Solid Waste Department is hereby authorized to separate 1 full-time position and 2 part-time positions, each paying $11 per hour at 24 hours per week. I make a recommendation to accept this.
It's been motioned and second to adopt this ordinance. This is one that will require 3 readings. At this time, I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read the next 2 at this meeting by title only.
Second.
This is for suspension. Just write suspension. Binary Phillips, the Virgil Lemings. It's been motioned and second to suspend the rules. A roll call vote for the rule suspension.
Bill Holt.
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Lester Bass.
Yes.
Thank you. Justice Holt, would you read for the second time by title only?
Be it enacted by the Holt Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, the ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to allow the Van Buren County Solid Waste Department to separate a full-time position into 2 part-time positions.
Thank you. And the third and final reading.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to allow the Van Buren County Solid Waste Department to separate a full-time position into 2 part-time positions.
Thank you. Discussion. To save money. We have a full-time person moving over to the road department, and I'd like to take that full-time person down to 2 part-time people. We don't have to pay insurance on them. We end up getting 8 hours more work because our volume over there has doubled on the transfer side, but we'll be spending $10,000 less.
Do you have any, is there anyone in mind to fill these positions?
There are. We have some really good applicants. We've already went ahead and done some interviews. We lost 1 part-time. I've replaced that part-time. We lost another full-time. I've replaced that one with a part-time. So I could do that since the slot was there. But I had to add a slot to do the 2 for 1. So we'll have 4 fulls and 4 parts. Making needed adjustments to make the budget work out there. Roll call vote.
Holt.
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Lester Bass.
Yes.
Thank you.
Number.
It's gonna be number 2019-36.
Tonya hasn't done this in quite a while, isn't she doing great? Our next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Tatum.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019, to increase the projected revenue and appropriate $172 into the Sheriff's Department budget and $766 into the detention center budget. Whereas the Sheriff's Department has received a donation of $172 for the K-9 program, and whereas the detention center has received $200 from the Already EH Club for lawn care and $566 from an auction fundraiser. Now therefore it be ordained by the Quorum Court, Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $172 be appropriated into the Sheriff's Office, number 1000-400-3104, K-9 expense donations, and Section 2, $200 be appropriated into the detention center, number 1000-418-2002, small equipment, and $566 into number 1418-2023 parts and repairs. I move to approve as written.
Second.
It's been motioned and second to approve this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Al Holt,
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
Number 2019-37.
Next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Lemings.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, the State of Arkansas, appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019, to increase the projected revenue and appropriate $3,442.95 into the various county projects budget 1000-804 for the Chimes Community Center grant. Whereas the Chimes Community Center has received a grant totaling $3,442.95, and whereas the money was received by the Van Buren County Treasurer on May the 20th, 2019, and whereas the grant money will need to be appropriated to be paid out to the Chimes Community Center when an invoice is presented. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County that Section 1, $3,442.95 be appropriated into the various county projects budget 1000-804-3120 Chimes Community Center grant. I move that we approve as written.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Al Holt.
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass. 2019-39.
Next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Holt.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance 2019-59, county operating budget for 2019 to increase TGE projected revenue, appropriate $3,409.69 into the assessor's office budget 1000-105 to cover postage, supplies, and expenses that were required by the AACD Arkansas Assessment Coordination Department. Whereas the AACD presented counties with incorrect formulas to use for vehicle assessments, and whereas this caused the assessments received by the people of Van Buren County to be incorrect, and whereas AACD required the counties mail out new assessments with the correct values. Now therefore be ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $2,835 be appropriated to the assessor's office budget 1000-105-3021 postage, and Section 2, $574.69 be appropriated to 1000-105-2001 general supplies to cover the extra cost totaling $3,409.69. Second, please.
Phillips and Brown. It's been motion and second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Shouldn't ACD be responsible for doing this, because it comes their club up? They caused this.
You have a lot of people in the state who agree with you.
I know, that's what right now, I'm trying to.
What does this come out of? Their budget, the assessor's office, or is it gonna come out of?
This
Or
one,
is it just moving?
we're just moving. We're just moving. Now, the assessor's office is funded by the taxable entities. So it's the cost to county general will be there. Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Al Holt,
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
This is gonna be 2019-39, the last one should have been right there.
Our next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Bass.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Appropriation Ordinance to Appropriate Monies that has been refunded by the schools for the 2019 school elections in Van Buren County to the Election Commission budget number 1,109 and the county clerk's vote registration number 1,101. Whereas after the school elections on May 21st, 2019, the schools in Van Buren County refunded the county for the expenses according to ACA 614-118. And whereas these monies need to be appropriated to the county clerk's voter registration budget and the election commission budget. Now, therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, a total of $826.33 will be appropriated to the county clerk's voter registration budget as follows. $1,121,1001 salaries part-time, $415.27. $1,121,1010 workers' comp, $7.06. $1,121,2001 general supplies, $400. $1,121,340 ad publication, $4. Section 2, a total of $7,439.90 would be appropriated to the election commission budget as follows. 1,109-1002 salaries part-time, $3,000. 1,109,1010 workman's comp, $12.19. 1,109-2001 general supplies, $910.81. 1,109-3009 other professional services, $1,826.90. 1,109-3023 internet, $190. 1,109-3054 other sundry, insurance, $1,500. I move for its adoption.
Second.
It's been motion and second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Al Holt,
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
2019-40.
Our next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Bradford. It's a lengthy one.
Everybody ready? Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance establishing a process to file an application for a private club permit in the unincorporated area of Van Buren County, Arkansas. Whereas pursuant to Arkansas Code of Noting, 3-9-222A1, it is required that an application for a permit to operate as a private club be made to the governing body of the county or municipality in which the private club seeks to be located, and whereas pursuant to Arkansas Code noted 3-9-222A2, if the governing body of the county approves by ordinance the application for a permit to operate as a private club, the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Division may issue a permit to operate as a private club to the applicant for the proposed location. And whereas in light of the procedural changes that are now in effect, the adoption of this ordinance is needed to establish the means, procedures, and regulations related to the processing of any such private club application made in the unincorporated area of Van Buren County, Arkansas. Therefore, we are ordained by the Van Buren County Quorum Court that Section 1, Establishment of Procedures, the procedures to request an ordinance in support of an application for a permit to operate a private club in the unincorporated areas of Van Buren County, Arkansas, shall be as follows. An applicant may submit a request in writing to the Van Buren County Judge's Office to call a special meeting of the Safety Committee, not less than 30 days prior to the scheduled meeting. The applicant shall submit the following to the Van Buren County Safety Committee: a letter stating the applicant's intent to file for a private club permit in the unincorporated area of Van Buren County, Arkansas, which must include the physical address of the property upon which the private club will be located or constructed. If the property is not owned by the applicant, a copy of the lease, option to purchase, or buy-sell agreement in favor of the applicant must be attached, and the names of the managing agent, and subject to Arkansas Code noted 3-9-222A1, a copy of the completed application the applicant intends to file with the Arkansas Beverage Control Division, and a non-refundable application fee of $1,500. The Safety Committee shall review the application at said meeting and decide whether to place the ordinance on the next regular meeting of the Van Buren County Quorum Court, allowing time for notice as required by Section 1C. If this ordinance, in the event that Safety Committee determines that the applicant does not contain the elements required by this article, the Safety Committee shall mark the applicant as deficient, not approved, and the applicant shall be deemed to be denied as having not completed with the provisions of this article. If placed on the agenda of the next regular Van Buren County Quorum Court meeting, the applicant, not less than 30 days prior to the meeting of which the request is to be heard, shall notify all property owners within 500 feet of the proposed location by personal service or by United States Postal Service certified mail, return receipt requested, and by duplicate sent by regular mail, informing the owner of the applicant's intent to request as ordinance in support of an application for a permit to operate a private club. The notice shall include date, time, and location of the Quorum Court meeting in which the matter requested is to be heard. The notice shall inform each property owner of their rights to make their position to support or opposition known to the Quorum Court meeting. An applicant shall provide the Van Buren Quorum Court with the following not less than 14 days prior to the Quorum Court meeting during which the matter is to be heard. 1. Copies of the letters notifying the property owners of the applicant's intent to request an ordinance in support of an application for a permit to operate a private club, and 2. Proof of personal service or delivery of the notices required in Section 1C of this ordinance. Section 2, Establishment of Regulations. The following rules and regulations shall apply to all applicants in the unincorporated areas of Van Buren County, Arkansas. A. Definitions. For the purpose of this ordinance, the following definitions shall apply. Words and phrases not specifically defined shall have the meanings assigned by the Title III of the Arkansas Code noted and the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Regulations. 1, Alcoholics or Narcotics Dependency Center means a building primarily used in the treatment of drug or alcohol dependence. 2, Assisted Living Center means a building or system of housing that is primarily used for the care of senior citizens or individuals with mental disabilities who need daily assistance. Church means a building that is primarily used for religious worship. 4, Daycare means a building that is primarily used for the care and needs of people who are not fully independent, such as children or elderly people. 5, Public park means a property used primarily as a public recreation facility. 6, School means a building that is primarily used for education. 7, Youth activity organization means a property used for the primary purpose of developing, promoting, and regulating activities to minors. B, distance from certain establishments. No permit shall be issued for the establishment that is less than 1,500 feet to be measured from the nearest property line to the nearest property line of any school, church, daycare, assisted living center, alcoholic or narcotic dependency center, public park, youth activity organization within the unincorporated area of Van Buren County, Arkansas, existing at the time of application. The applicant bears the responsibility of providing proof to the safety committee that the premises of the proposed private club is not less than 1,500 feet from the aforementioned establishment. Restrictions on number of private club restrictions on the number of private club permits allowed. The number of private clubs for County of Van Buren will not exceed the ratio of 1 private club for every 5,000 citizens of Van Buren County, Arkansas. Section 3. The Van Buren County Court's approval of an ordinance supporting an application for permit to operate a private club in an unincorporated area of Van Buren County, Arkansas does not constitute final action, or does it guarantee the permit will be approved by the Arkansas Beverage Control Division. The ordinance of the Quorum Court merely expresses support or lack of support of the governing body of Van Buren County, Arkansas. It provides no indication of whether the applicant complies with the appropriate alcohol regulations and laws. The Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Division is not compelled to approve or issue a permit to operate a private club based on the Van Buren County Court's approval of an ordinance supporting the applicant's permit requested. The Van Buren County Court members, individually or as a whole, are not compelled to approve or support an applicant's permit to support or operate a private club on the acceptance of this ordinance or an applicant's filling of the requirements of this ordinance. Section 5, repealer. Any ordinance which conflicts with this ordinance is hereby repealed to the extent of the conflict. Section 6, severability. In the event that any provision of this ordinance is declared or judged to be invalid or unconstitutional, such declaration or abdication shall not affect the remaining portion of this ordinance, which may remain in full force and effect as if the portion declared invalid were not originally a part of this ordinance. This Section 7, this ordinance is declared to be a measure for the preservation of peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the people of Van Buren County, Arkansas, and therefore, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage. I recommend this ordinance be approved. Now, one thing, Dale, I strongly suggest we read this at least 2 times. I've also printed out the bill.
Before we go into further discussion, is there a second?
Second. Oh, okay.
Okay. It's been motioned and second. Do you wish for these 3 to read on 3 different months?
Well, there's a lot here, Dale. I mean, and I printed out what is Bill 1112, the state bill. It's a support. So if we honestly going through this, let's go ahead.
No, you're fine.
When I was reading it on, let's see, I think this is section 2, and that's C, where it limits 1 per 5,000 residents.
Okay.
I contacted the alcohol beverage control to see how many we had in Van Buren County. And he said that we currently have 12 active. They renew in July, and he sent me this list. Now, I just got it at like 5:30 that he actually sent me the list. So I didn't know how what we need to do on that. Because it looked, that was more than, I thought we had several. I didn't think there was 12. But he sent me the list, and there's 12. So I don't know, would like to look at how many of those are in city limits, and maybe.
Well, the city, this unincorporated area is the county only.
Well, I mean, I wonder if we could separate that out in ours, because ours is acting like, so you're saying that it would only be, I don't know how many, I haven't got to go through the list to see what falls in city limits and what is in county.
Well, yeah, like last year, Bistros, Clinton, and Fairfield Bay's got a couple, but that's municipality, they got to set their, they got to set their own ordinance way. I'm telling you.
Right, okay, so we don't think that we think that they're all in city limits, I guess?
So this one is only for out in the county?
Correct. The VFW and Choctaw would be in the county.
Okay, what about VFW and Purple Valley?
I don't know. It's inside.
I think that road is Shirley.
Is that Shirley?
17.
Yeah, because
It's
it's
probably
in
gonna
your
come down to about
jurisdiction.
16.
So there's two
Yeah.
that are in the county. The other ones I've got a list here, so that was just one thing, wanted to make sure.
Well, you're bringing up a good point there. That's a point that's been raised before, brought up. After I submitted this, we
Right,
could be
yeah.
restricting I submitted this, but we could be restricting ourselves to, I don't know what the future. That's why I'm suggesting everybody take this home, take this in 11-12, and Act 7-12, and I don't know.
Just as
Almost
fast.
all of them are in Fairfield
Is
Bay.
the person that's wanting that filed this application of the hearing?
To my knowledge, no one has filed an application. This is pre-work.
Right. Yeah, we don't have any, I'm just trying to get ahead of the game here, Esther.
So we know what we're dealing with.
Well, Faulkner County they didn't anticipate that, they didn't have an ordinance in place when that came about down there last month, so.
Do you have, is there somebody in mind that's gonna do this? Or you're just trying to?
I think he's just trying to get on the front end of it before someone comes to us, right?
Thank you.
We have a procedure in place.
Esther, we may never use this. I mean, we may never use it. I don't know.
So where's it gonna be located at?
Anywhere in the unincorporated area, all red chimes,
So
anywhere.
we don't know, but it just, anywhere.
But if y'all incorporate up there, you'll have to set your own ordinance.
But until
You're right.
They're all, the only ones that's, all of them Fairfield Bay except for the two VFWs and the East Road.
Nikki?
And I had one other thing, I don't really have an issue with it, I just, for procedure, if we're making the ordinance, it's written like first it would go to a safety committee.
Yeah.
Would we, and I don't know the answer, do we need it to go to the safety committee and then the quorum court, or could we cut that out, or is that a good idea, bad idea? I didn't know if maybe for simplicity and structure, it's just something I wanted to discuss.
Yes.
Not yet. At least
We had the old one.
we don't have one right now,
Okay.
but we can
Yeah.
take care of
I kind of like the idea of the buffer. The buffer and the safety committee that it goes in front of.
Yeah, and I don't have an opinion on it really, just other than to discuss it. And I don't know, do we anticipate that we're gonna get a lot? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, there's a lot. And he said those were all active, so usually they have some fall off in July. Since we're past July, those are all active.
We continue.
appears to me that we've got 3 in the county, if the one at Fairfield Bay VFW, if that's actually in the county and not in the city of Fairfield Bay, then we would have 3. So we'd have 2 VFWs and
So this would allow, the way it's written for number.
Yeah. Because we have 70,000 county.
Because when Reyes is going to just close down, you know, it became one, so that would still be in full. So she was open when Reyes was open.
Right. Is there any other public discussion until we read this the second time next month?
No, but I like that information that Nikki brought us.
You bet.
I thought you were back talking about
No,
that.
that's the list of active.
Oh.
Yeah. And, do this one.
Shannon? Would you care to make about 15 copies of this? Thank you. Got copies in just a moment. All right, we'll move on, and that second reading will occur next month. The next ordinance, we need to suspend the rules to entertain a couple of last-minute ordinances. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules to entertain 2 more ordinances?
So moved.
Second.
Phillips and Holt. Which one? No, this one we read it the first time. That's all. It's been motion and second to suspend the rules to entertain 2 ordinances. Roll call vote for suspension.
Bill Holt.
Yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown. Yes. Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Don Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
2019-41.
It's not an ordinance.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
not.
the
It's
rules.
suspended, sorry.
Who's going to read this one for Gary?
I'm
Okay.
gonna read it.
Thank you.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019 to increase the projected revenue of county general, to appropriate $40,000 and transfer to the solid waste department number 3009-700-3104 landfill tipping fees. Whereas the volume of waste has increased and has caused the BBC solid waste bills to increase. And whereas until the county receives payment for dumping, $40,000 is needed for the county general to pay the current bills owed. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $40,000 is appropriated to the county general and transferred to solid waste number 3009-700-3104 landfill tipping fees.
Do I hear a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
It's been motion and second to adopt this ordinance. Questions and discussion?
Okay, where's the money coming from?
This one's having to come from county general. The way the solid waste budget was approved, there is no way that could have balanced. It was way off kilter. That's why I'm making so many adjustments as we go. I have a budget to turn in for next year that's gonna have us $20,000 in the black.
Okay,
Now,
are we gonna get this 40,000 back from the fees?
if it's left over at the end of the year, absolutely. Absolutely. We're probably gonna have another ordinance to increase this. We receive more than we spend in tipping fees. Because that's what the transfer station does. We haul it over to Morrilton, we drop it in the landfill for $32 a ton-ish. And then we receive on the backside of that about $50 a ton. But we are out of money appropriate, it's footwork, a lot of it. We just have to, there's anticipated revenues to come behind the expense, is what I'm saying. And the $40,000 will cover it all the way to
When it says, until the county receives payment for dumping, when?
We receive payment a month after we have to pay for this month's tipping fees, but then the haulers pay by the 10th of the following month. So we're really just a month behind.
You're basically waiting for everybody else to pay their bills.
We're waiting for everyone else to pay their bills. We've been able to keep up so far this year, and all the way up until this point, and then it's just, the volume has gone way up, which is a great thing. That with the bottoming out of the recycle market, the transfer side has really picked up, which has helped us out. And another reason why we needed to do the adjustment you just approved on the people to reduce the cost. There's money.
So we're gonna get our 40,000 back from folks who are coming to and our site.
We should. This will get us to where we can pay our bills without having to wait on the money. Yeah.
Is good to the end of the year?
Yes. Any other ordinance that comes, any other appropriation would just be to put money in that line item so we can receive it on the backside.
We're dealing with a bleeding hole here.
I know.
There's no way to make any money off what we're doing.
But at budget time, I'll submit a plan that you'll like. I'm excited about it. I hope so.
How much do you usually take in
Well, that's a good question. You know, in the budget, we had budgeted $154,000 to pay for tipping fees. I would have to do the quick math I don't have those numbers right in front of me on what we received behind that, but it's a minimum of $50 a ton. Next year's projections are $300,000. Our volume has doubled. We have a hauler, Diamond State, down in the south part of the county. They're using us to bring trash that's collected in Faulkner County and some other counties, which is really.
You don't know how many ton a week?
Of course, it does vary. The 300,000 divided by $34, $32 per ton is what the tons would be. And then we can turn around and multiply that out by 50. We make just enough to cover our overhead.
This is not the first time this has happened. This is kind of normal.
It has been, and that's why I'm excited to turn in next year's budget.
Yeah, I consider this a sucking chest wound.
But it's not the first time that it's happened.
It's not the first time.
No.
I understand.
It's like,
I would love for somebody else to come in and take over the entire operation.
and let it be you.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Bill Holt,
Reluctant, yes.
Nikki Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Brenda Lemings. Esther Bass.
Yeah.
So 41? Okay. Our next ordinance will be read by Justice Sarah Brown.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the salary section of the original ordinance, number 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019, to reconstruct some of the salary positions for the assessor's office without cost to the county. Whereas the assessor's office will be taking over the responsibilities of the 911 office, and whereas the salaries need to be rearranged to cover additional responsibilities. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, salary positions will be as follows. Deputy number 1 from $31,865.60, $32,177.60. Deputy number 2 from $31,428.80 to $31,865.60. And deputy number 3 from $31,324.80 to $35.76. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to adopt this ordinance. This one's a little bit vague because there is an appropriation, but it's a little bit more than that, so we need to go ahead and just cover ourselves and read this one 3 times. I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules to do the next 2 readings at this time by title only.
So good. Second.
Okay, this is for a rule suspension. And it is by Holt, second by. Motion is second to suspend the rules to conduct the next 2 readings of this meeting by title only. Roll call vote for suspension.
Al Holt.
Yes.
Vicky Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Linn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Lester Bass.
Yes.
Thank you. Sarah, would you care to read it one more time by title only?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the salary section of the original ordinance number 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019 to reconstruct some of the salary positions for the assessor's office without cost to the county.
And the third and final reading, please.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the salary section of the original ordinance number 2019-59, the annual operating budget for 2019 to reconstruct some of the salary positions for the assessor's office without cost to the county.
Thank you. Discussion and questions.
I'm gonna need some real good explanation.
Yeah, and I think I, as assessor,
That certainly happens to be.
Yes, sir, it's, I'm losing an employee. And we're gonna take on some of the responsibilities of the 911 coordinator. And if I just do a straight up bump, the largest raise will be for someone who is not taking on any extra duties. So I'm just wanting to move around.
Did you give it to my?
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to take the salaries and move them around a little bit. I'm not asking for a penny more, but when I lose that employee, if the next person just bumps up to that salary that is taking on a lot more duty, they're not hardly getting any raise.
Okay, you're not gonna rehire that position, you're gonna.
Yes,
What's
but
that?
at the lowest rate.
They're not hired.
Right, and if I bump everybody up.
Okay,
It
we've had other offices that have gone through this, and they have not increased anybody's pay, they just took on the extra responsibilities.
I'm not increasing anyone's pay in total. I'm not asking for any extra money at all. I just want to rearrange the salaries for the person that's taking on the duties.
Yeah, I see.
So your budget remains the exact same?
Same to the penny.
Yes, differently.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? Roll call vote.
Dale Holt.
No.
Vicky Brown.
Yes.
Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Mary Lynn,
Yes.
John Bradford,
Yes.
Ron Tatum,
Yes.
Virgil Lemings,
Yes.
Esther Bass.
The only reason I say no is because we've had others come in here that asked for a raise that did not get it. It's, you know,
Motion passes.
19-42.
Next is a resolution sponsored by Justice Phillips.
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution to create the Van Buren County Uncommon Communities Committee, and to confirm and approve the appointment of members thereto. Whereas Uncommon Communities is a leadership, community, and economic development program developed by the Winthrop Rockefeller Institute and founded upon the research and methodology of Dr. Vaughn Grisham, Emeritus Director of the University of Mississippi's McLean Institute for Public Service and Community Engagement. And whereas there is a need to establish a committee to promote Van Buren County by applying the education received through the Uncommon Communities training. Therefore, be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that 1. Uncommon communities shall have the authority to organize themselves in the manner approved by the committee. 2. Uncommon communities shall have authority to approve expenditures from Van Buren County's economic development budget for promotion purposes and must stay within the appropriated budget. 3. Individuals of the Uncommon Community Committee are volunteers and shall receive no payment for service to the committee. 4. Uncommon communities shall have final determination as to which events are displayed on Van Buren County's billboard, which is located at Highway 330 and Highway 65, as well as final determination on the actual skin applied to the billboard structure. 5. Every effort shall be made to include every incorporated city within Van Buren County to secure funding for the Uncommon Communities Committee. 6. Bylaws for the committee shall be filed with the Van Buren County Clerk's office. 7. The following appointments shall be made to the committee. A. Jackie Sykes, Chair. B. Deborah Brennan, Secretary. I've got it, you guys know. C. Leslie Nafsker, Member at Large. D. Jessica Crabtree Farnsworth, Social Media and Promotions. E. Sean Sykes, Marketing and Brand Development Director. I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to adopt this resolution. Any discussion?
yeah, I'd like a little explanation of what this group would be doing.
Absolutely. Jackie, would you like to come address the court?
It's been a long time coming. Yes, Esther?
Yes, I'd like, just explain to us what you've got going here.
Okay, this is a group that was formed 4 years ago. It's called Uncommon Communities, as you maybe know. It's a training that we went through on economic development and tourism and growth in your communities that was attended by several people here and leaders in Van Buren County. At the end of the graduation, the group continued to do their work. It is formed strictly with volunteers that are passionate about moving Van Buren County forward in economic development, tourism, and growth. And as a chairman of this committee, I'm taking, stock in what Dale has offered us to do. He will continue to be transparent in everything that we're doing. So please check the bbcjourney.com. That is the website. We do a blog so that every meeting, our minutes are posted on there so you know what we've got going on and what's getting planned. The reason why we need to do this is we need to be an official organization that is recognized by members of the Quorum Court. There's been some confusion on the past on who has the final say on certain things, and this is going to clarify that so there won't be any more discussions or problems in the future. So your consideration on this, you guys, is something that's very close to my heart since I worked on this for so long. we're going to move Van Buren County forward, and we really appreciate your support on this. And you can contact me anytime with any questions. We'll keep the Quorum Court informed and the general public informed of what we're doing every step of the way.
Now, will you be working under the county judge?
Yes, the county judge chairs our meetings, and he's at every one of them that he can possibly be at. But everything, the final say is through the judge.
Except the money, and that's it.
The money is we do go to the payments, and we'll make sure we stay on our budget. Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you. Roll call vote?
Bill Holt,
Yes.
Nikki Brown. Yes. Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
We have resolution number 2019-13.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to dispense of the audible reading of the transfers and do them as a group.
So be it.
Second.
We'll let our bookkeeper catch up. Roll call for suspension?
Bill Holt.
Yes.
Nikki Brown. Yes. Sarah Brown.
Yes.
Mary Phillips.
Yes.
Gary Lynn.
Yes.
John Bradford.
Yes.
Ron Tatum.
Yes.
Virgil Lemings.
Yes.
Esther Bass.
Yes.
You have before you a copy of the transfers. Are there any questions or comments?
I have one.
Yes.
On the third one, 1,430.33.005, 1,105.005. Where is that from and where is it going to?
That is for the lawsuit. Our legal counsel at AAC told us that that belongs under the assessor's office umbrella because all the taxable entities benefit and have equal amounts or even more amounts than us to gain or to lose in that lawsuit. So that money will be divided among the taxable entities instead of being solely a burden of county general. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the transfers, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Transfer is carried. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Second.
Any opposed?
Who's watching? Who's watching me?